Fiesta is an event marked by festivities or celebration. To some, dictionary definition isn't quite accurate. To those, images that pop into mind are descriptive words like affordable, cheap to run, enjoyable, and then there's the two letters that turn it into something rather special, ST. Ford finally brought the ST to the new generation, unless you live in the States, in which case you have my sincere condolences. When our local dealer Laakkonen Herttoniemi called and told us there was one for us to test drive, we jumped on the chance. But before we get to that, full disclosure. Both of us who have worked on this review have owned Fiestas in the past, with one of us having current gen Vignale and me having already ordered myself a new Fiesta ST. Vignale is looking at having somewhere around 25,000 miles on the clock by the end of this year, and the ST will be used as a family car and a fun weekend car. They will receive absolute torture as far as cars are considered, with countryside gravel roads, kids and pets, and they will be driven like they meant to, on the many twisting and winding B roads that Finland has. Now on paper it has everything ST should have: 198 horsepower, 219 meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 6.5 seconds, all while losing a cylinder and some displacement. Something that's obvious if you hear it, as it almost sounds like it could be a distant cousin to a boxer engine. In its most economical form, it will actually run with just 2 cylinders, producing an interesting soundtrack when the twin-cylinder rumble is reflected back at you from the parked cars and surrounding buildings. It sounds especially strange if you consider that the source for that sound is able to shift so quickly when not busy trying to show affection to the environment. But you wouldn't be able to tell that it does any of the eco stuff if you'd focus on how it drives. We did manage to squeeze it down to 5.3 liters per 100 kilometers on a hilly B road, with considerable amounts of pedal discipline. So it will be just fine as a daily driver if you possess the mental fortitude of a Navy SEAL and can limit throttle usage to normal rather than fun. And being a daily driver is the one big upgrade. The previous generation Fiesta ST that I had was used as a daily driver as well. But it required a bunch of extra considerations at that role. There wasn't rear suspension to speak of, as it was sacrificed on the altar of driver's fun. It was a 3-door model, so getting anybody to the back seat was a chore. And it was smaller to a point where having 2 large adults sitting in the same row was troublesome, to say the least. All of these are areas where the new ST has improved. It absorbs speed bumps well enough without sacrificing all that much from the driving experience. Having ordered the 5-door variant, the usability goes way up as well. Hauling 4 people around in it is also plausible, with me being able to sit in a proper driving position where a 2-meter person can actually sit behind me. Something that would have been unspeakable in the previous Fiesta. You're still not going to take it across the country without taking a break to stretch your legs, but at least you won't be arriving to your destination unable to walk as before. This comes with a cost of some boot space though. Outside that, it gains a new Synth 3 based infotainment, an aircon which leaps and bounds above the old one, as well as higher quality interior for most parts. Yes, the doors are cheap, yes the plastic is hard, and yes, you know you are not in a premium luxury car. But then, everything is a bit better than before, and it shows in the feeling you get when you enter one. As far as the options go, the few worth mentioning are the upgrade to the audio system, LED lights, sunroof and the performance package. Bang & Olufsen's audio system has considerable oomph behind it without losing clarity in the process, especially so if you consider it to be a factory option. The multitude of speakers actually being able to deliver sound from around you rather than squeaking at you from the bottom of the doors. LED lights are an absolute must during the dark times of the year. They aren't adaptive and they sacrifice some of the focus that xenos have to give you a wider beam, meaning that they are well suited for cities and smaller roads, but a bit lacking on the motorway. Fiesta sunroof actually lives up to the name. Even back seats get to enjoy more light due to large windows that span the whole roof, and the dark interior that the ST has really benefits from this. It's not a must-have, but it's worth to consider. Performance pack is where the things get interesting. Ford hasn't given us a mechanical limited slip differential from the factory since the Mark I Focus RS. This is the one option you want, even when working on a limited budget, to a point where the difference is almost as large as ST and ST line on previous model. If you forgive us a bit of exaggeration, try it out for yourself and you won't want to go without it. Shift light that comes with the performance pack is a tiny little speck on the dash, not something you're likely to notice when driving in a way where you might need one. Last thing that comes with the pack is launch control. It's, well, okay, you're not going to use it, but it's there for you, so you get to say you have it, and maybe to impress your mates when they first see your new car. It's just a party trick. Essentially, it has lost some of the no-nonsense that previous Fiesta ST had, and gained some finesse inside, outside and underneath it. So you could make the argument that it's grown up, which it has done without a doubt. And normally that would mean that now comes the part where I berate the car for lacking that extra magic that made the last Fiesta so special that even the 85 horsepower standing during a maintenance was able to conjure a smile in the small back roads if you made the car work for it hard enough. No, and no. When driving in the city using normal driving mode, it is a good option to zip around on the Jeep, making it feel like it actually might be just a city car, albeit there are undertones that let you know it's more than your average car when pushed. But when you hit the smaller roads and turn the car from normal driving mode to the fun mode, car makes sure that you won't stop smiling. I suspect we all know a place where the speed limit is way above what most people consider sensible, where your average family car needs to slow down in order to avoid making the driver extremely uncomfortable with the rate that they are approaching the bend. Well, we couldn't find one driving this. Now, we would never advocate driving faster than your own ability, speed limit or what the road conditions allow you to. But on a dry asphalt, finding the most winding road you can, in this car it only means you get to laugh more. The steering comes alive and just feels logical. Due to the linear nature, it becomes so that after just a few turns you know where it will go and how it will behave. The fast steering helps you take harder bends without having to turn the wheel more than a few degrees off center, and combined with the steering's linear nature, it makes for an awesome experience on a tight country road, zipping past barns, fields and whatnot. You literally do not need to go over 60 km per hour to have a grin on your face. which is an extraordinary feat that distinguishes it from the most cars that put speed above fun, as well as current, soon to be replaced, Focus ST that is my current daily driver. This paired with the new soundscape that you get from the new 3-pot engine, especially in the sport or track mode where it burbles coming off the gas, just rubs me the right way. As good as the audio system is, and it really is worth the extra cost, I found myself turning it off more than just once just to take the car in, something a few factory spec cars have managed to do. And on this price point, something that we haven't found in any other car. If we downgrade the B roads to gravel, it's okay. It absorbs things a lot more gracefully than before, but in the end it's not built for the gravel. The playful rear becomes very apparent, the brake vectoring kick the tail out ever so slightly even at low speeds of 30 to 40 km per hour. The steering gives you a good picture of what's going on under the front wheels, and it gives you some peace of mind when driving on less grippy roads. The optional LSD that comes with the performance package helps when stepping on the gas, as you would imagine, but it isn't an RS and it doesn't really belong to the gravel. Now I have had the car for a good afternoon, and all it really did was make me extremely impatient regarding the delivery of my own ST. It's about all I wanted, minus certain build quality things like plastics that don't feel like they came from a toy factory, and a proper dash integration of the infotainment. It's hard to imagine the plastics would have added all that much to the price, and when we are talking about a car that is well in excess of 30,000 euros in here, I'd hope to see that material wise it's on the same level with those that sit in the mid 20,000 price range. But at the same time, Fiesta is made to be driven and to be used, and I have a feeling that material choices reflect on that. It's not something that's meant to pamper your senses as you float from work to home in your little isolation chamber. It's meant to keep you engaged as you drive it about and guarantee that you have at least one reason to smile about. As far as the car's nature, it's almost as if the overly eager puppy that was the previous generation would have grown up. It's now at the point where you can actually invite people over without it going crazy. If you tempt it just a little, it will still be just as playful, if a little easier to live with. And for being a car on the cheaper end of the spectrum of fun cars, it is one of the more likely candidates where it is your only car, so I'm certain the ease of living with it is a welcome change to anyone who uses it as their daily driver. But like all good things, even our time with it must come to an end. Now we just have to wait for mine to arrive.